Advantages of using corpora. Better than just Googling. A corpus is defined as a collection of written and/or spoken utterances. However, as transcripts of spoken data are very time-consuming to produce, there are only a few corpora that consist of spoken language. In today's corpora, the data are digitized and consist of the data themselves, the metadata that describe the data, and linguistic annotations assigned to that data. Let's look at this more closely. A corpus consists of the texts themselves, the primary data that are included in the corpus, as well as additional data that are assigned to these texts. Metadata contain the information that describes individual texts as a whole in more detail, such as who wrote the text, or when it was published, and in which medium. The primary data can be further described at a linguistic level, which makes them more useful for corpus linguistic analyses. This is done through annotations. The most common form of annotation is part of speech, or POS tagging, a process which automatically assigns a part of speech tag to each individual word form in the primary data. For example, it is only through tagging that we would be able to analyze all the adjectives used in proximity to a noun, such as the word refugee. Syntactic structures, such as verbal and nominal phrases, can also be annotated, which is called parsing. However, parsing and evaluating data at this level is more difficult due to the complexity of syntactic structures. Modern digital corpora have further requirements. A corpus contains language from authentic use and not invented sentences, such as those often used in language teaching materials. A corpus is meant to be representative with respect to the research question at hand. Representative means that the language data in the corpus are selected to represent everything that the corpus should be used to investigate. The reality is that it is usually necessary to limit the research question and to qualify the results. For example, it is not possible to make statements about German language use in media in general because it is impossible to capture all statements in German from all media. Nevertheless, when building a corpus, efforts must be made to ensure that, depending on the research question, all relevant text types, sources, and the like are taken into consideration. This leads to the last important requirement: balance. A corpus has the right balance when it is structured in such a way that the distribution of the data in the corpus corresponds as closely as possible to the distribution of data in the world being investigated, at least with respect to the research question. For example, we can say that the right balance has been struck when all statements made by the various stakeholders on one topic over a set period of time are included in the corpus, or if a sample contains the same weighting of the important sources.